The walls of the crystalline throne chamber glittered with starlight refracted through prism-like arches. It was the heart of the Zyrran Empire, a place so beautiful and strange that it hardly seemed real. As I stood before the Empress of Zur, a chill danced down my spine, not from fear but anticipation. The woman seated beside her, half-veiled in shadows and silk, was Princess Kaelira, heiress to the throne. Her violet eyes never left me. "Captain Elias Thorne of Terra," the Empress declared, her voice smooth as polished obsidian. "You have saved my daughter's life during the assault on the moons of Del-Kesh. For that we owe you a debt." I bowed stiffly, armor creaking. "Your Majesty, any Terran would have done the same." "But only you did," the Empress said with a glimmer of amusement. "And it is Kaelira's right to claim satisfaction." My heart stopped. I'd heard the rumors. In Zyrran culture, satisfaction meant more than gratitude. It meant intimacy, immediate and ceremonial, especially when claimed by royalty. The Empress turned to her daughter. "Do you claim him?" Kaelira rose like a tide of moonlight. Her robes shifted with her movement, revealing the elegant line of her throat and the almost otherworldly shimmer of her silver-blue skin. "I do." A deep murmur swept the court. The heiress had never claimed anyone before, not even from among her own kind. I swallowed. "Princess, Come with me," Kaelira said, offering her hand. The chamber disappeared behind me as she led me into a private corridor of polished black stone veined with luminous green. Neither of us spoke. Her fingers wrapped around mine, cool and delicate, yet commanding. Doors whispered open to a chamber perfumed with strange, sweet fragrances and draped in silks that floated as if underwater. "You're nervous," she said softly. "I'm confused." Kaelira stepped closer, brushing a hand against my jaw. "You risked your life for mine. By the old laws, I can claim one night with you to fulfill my honor." "One night," I repeated, trying not to stare at the way her dress clung to her figure. "And what does this night entail?" She smiled, predatory and warm all at once. "Whatever I desire." We sat across from each other on a low platform bed surrounded by cushions. Kaelira had changed into a simpler wrap of deep indigo fabric that left her shoulders bare and shimmered against her luminous skin. I remained in my uniform, trying to hold on to some sense of military discipline. She tilted her head. "Do all Terrans resist pleasure, or are you just that stubborn?" I chuckled despite myself. "Most of us prefer to be courted before being conquered." That made her laugh, a musical sound that stirred the air. "You saved me, Captain. I've had nobles send entire fleets to impress me and fail. You acted out of instinct, without promise of reward. That is the most alluring thing of all." "I didn't expect a reward," I said. "But you deserve one," she replied, her voice velvet smooth. "And I deserve to know the man behind the armor." She leaned forward, fingers brushing the high collar of my uniform. I caught her hand gently. "I'm not just a prize." Her eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger but consideration. "No, you're not. That's why I chose you." There was a pause. The tension between us shifted, no longer a demand but an invitation. I nodded once. "Then let's talk. Who is Kaelira when she's not commanding starships or attending court?" She seemed taken aback, then smiled. "You want to know me. That's the only way this night will mean anything." She leaned back on her elbows, eyes thoughtful. "I'm a prisoner, Captain. Trapped in silk and ceremony. Every choice made for me since I was born. This is the first time I've been allowed to choose something or someone for myself." The honesty in her voice cut through everything else. I sat beside her slowly, not touching but close. Then let's make it real, I said. Not royal duty. Not a transaction. She studied me, then nodded solemnly. Her hand reached out again, this time not to command but to connect. Our fingers intertwined naturally. Her skin was soft, almost electric. There was no more pressure, only a shared gravity pulling us closer. Later, lying side by side in a tangle of soft linens and dimly glowing lamps, Kaelira traced lazy circles on my chest. "You surprise me, Terran," she said. "Most would have boasted or submitted instantly. You made me work for your truth." "I could say the same," I replied. "I expected a spoiled heiress. I found a woman who wants to be more than her crown." She smiled sleepily, then suddenly tensed as a chime echoed through the chamber. Her gaze turned sharp. "What is it?" I asked. "My mother," she whispered. "She's summoned me." Kaelira stood, wrapping her robe quickly, expression unreadable. I sat up, instincts flaring. "What's going on?" She paused at the doorway. "There are factions at court who would see me shamed for choosing a Terran. They may be forcing her hand. Stay here. No matter what happens. Kaelira, I command you. Stay." She vanished into the corridor, doors sealing behind her with a hiss. I paced the room, heart hammering. Minutes stretched into an hour. Finally, I could bear it no more. I slipped from the chamber, moving silently through empty halls until I reached a high balcony overlooking the central court. Kaelira stood at the dais beside her mother, eyes fierce. "And I say again," she declared to the assembly, "I will not rescind my claim." A noble with pale blue scales hissed. "You sully our bloodline." Kaelira raised her chin. "And you sully our honor. This man saved my life when your ships turned away." The Empress stood. "Silence." The court fell still. "My daughter has chosen. And by our most ancient law, her choice is sacrosanct. The ceremony will proceed at dawn." Gasps echoed across the chamber. And blinked. Ceremony. Then I remembered. If her claim wasn't just ceremonial but affirmed by the Empress, the night would not be a one-time reward, but a binding, a royal bonding. She wasn't just honoring me. She was choosing me. When Kaelira returned to our chamber, her face was tight with emotion. "You weren't supposed to hear that." I stepped forward. "You didn't have to fight for me." "Yes, I did," she said fiercely. "I chose you. Not for a night. Not for tradition. I wanted this to mean something, and now it does." I took her hands. "Are you sure? This changes everything." She smiled. "You asked who I am beyond the throne. I'm the woman who wants a future that I choose. And I choose you." Silence fell between us, not empty but full of understanding. I kissed her then, not as a Terran soldier, not as a reward granted by an empire, but as a man who had found something extraordinary among the stars.